Welcome back to the Vote Voice podcast. This is part 2 of getting your mojo back, confidence and self-esteem in a pandemic. This is Donna Miller. This is the Vote Voice podcast. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter. We're on TikTok. You can listen to the Vote Voice podcast on Anchor, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, and Spotify. You can like us on Facebook, and you can visit us at www.votevoice.com. And our website's going to be updated. So we're all looking forward to that. We have issues of voter suppression in the state of Michigan, and I have just finished a podcast a few days ago, a week ago, about the absentee ballot, and we have podcasts on voter suppression. I thought we'd take a break just for a moment, which we do not take a complete break, but I thought we'd pick up where we left off. And we left off talking about the 5 different signs that you have low self-esteem. Right now, let's pick up where we left off at being hesitant to speak. Now, being reluctant to voice your opinions is another sign that you might have low self-esteem and lack confidence. It indicates an underlying doubt in what you have to say. It might mean that you are unsure if your opinion is valid, or you tell yourself that others are uninterested in what you have to say. You might fear that by speaking up, it will cause others to dislike you. This is true. Being outspoken, using your voice, does not win you friends. People would prefer for you to be silent, but we can't be silent. We have to speak up. Okay? And people want to crush who you are. Do not crush who you are. You have to be yourself. I'm not talking about being rude or anything like that, but look, it's like with Jill Biden. They did not want to call her doctor. Well, just because you don't have a doctor in front of your name doesn't mean that you can't acknowledge that somebody else is a doctor. Hey, you don't have to belittle me just because you're not doing it, right? And people prefer you not to have self-esteem and confidence. Okay, it's easy for people to do what they want. And most of the time, when someone doesn't want you to use your voice, does not respect your voice, does not respect your views, well, that's on them. Do not hide yourself. Okay? And like I said, I'm not talking about being rude or overbearing. I mean, come on now. If someone, you know what I hated when I was younger? Going to meet someone for dinner and that food did not show up. I've had that happen to me a few times where I sit there and that person, you make arrangements with that person. They don't call you or nothing. And I never could figure out what the point of that was. but I didn't have time for you. You don't even, you know what I'm saying? And you couldn't even call. Then when you call him, he has no explanation. I never could figure out why a guy would do that. And then some people wonder why they don't have a date. Well, guess what? Show up for the dinner date, honey. Maybe you'll get a date. You know what? Having low self-confidence in a particular area may cause you to be hesitant about voicing your opinion because you fear you're not knowledgeable enough in the field. If you are a new business owner and attend a networking event, you may not feel confident to share your thoughts with a 20-year veteran. But I don't want anyone to feel that way. Talk about what you're doing. And you know what? If you're in a situation where you don't know, ask a question. Acknowledge you don't know. And you know what? It's all right to say, I don't feel comfortable about discussing this. Okay? But it's okay to be yourself. Be your authentic self. If you continuously fear speaking up, it is an indication that you are suffering from generalized low self-esteem. This might cause negative thoughts of doubt that ultimately prevent you from speaking up. Now, if you have an inability to take criticism, being focused on outside reassurances and failure to take criticism often coincide in individuals with low self-esteem. Now, there is a difference between criticism and somebody just dragging you. Okay? We have to be open up to good criticism. And I always tell people, let me know, tell me like it is. But often people are more apt to just want to knock you down. So you have to really learn what is criticism and what isn't. But that again comes back on you. When you need others' approval to feel good, then hearing criticism can be crushing. For these individuals, criticism is always taken as a personal attack on the alter ego rather than being looked at as feedback. When you suffer from low self-esteem, the opinions of others are valued higher than your own self-worth. The criticism is taken as truth instead of a mere opinion. When you have high self-esteem, you use these criticisms as helpful feedback and are able to listen and discard it as an untrue opinion. You can tell when someone is being genuine, and those are the people I like to have in my life. The genuine person, the person you can go to and say, you know what? I know you're going to tell me the truth. Okay? Those are the people we need in our life. Oprah Winfrey was talking about how Gail was her true friend and she was a person in her life that she could trust. And Gail felt the same way about Oprah. Those kind of relationships are rare. Now, we don't want to give up easily because self-doubt is a substantial cause and symptom of low self-esteem. If you doubt, you go without. Now, that doesn't mean that you do things that are ridiculous or dangerous. Somebody calls you and says, send him $1,000. I have had calls like that. Oh my God, I've had some crazy calls, emails, people running a con. Okay, we're not talking about healthy doubting. We're talking about a doubt that isn't healthy. Okay, where you do not trust your decisions at all. Nobody is an expert when trying to try something for the first time, and it requires perseverance and overcoming obstacles before you can succeed at anything. Someone with a wavering esteem can become easily defeated when they fail the first time. While your confidence may feel shaky when you're first embarking on a new endeavor, with the appropriate level of self esteem, you will be able to figure out how you can increase your confidence. All of the interactions we have on a daily basis influence us to think, act, and believe a certain way. Most of this happens subconsciously. If you grew up in a household that believed that family always comes first, the chances are that you have a close, well-connected family. If you grew up around people who think the wealthy are lucky and get all the breaks, chances are you believe that your ability to become wealthy is a steep and impossible climb. If you grew up in a family that believes in good education, chances are you believe the same and now expect your kids to get a good education as well. We know how that is. But I learned something when I was younger. I learned you have to make your own traditions. So I'm talking to a lot of young people out there. If you didn't have the father that you wanted, okay, some of us come from really dysfunctional homes, but you can be that father. You can be that mother. You can have the traditions in your family, okay? You can be stronger. We learn from every experience that we encounter in life. Whether you consciously learn from the experience or not doesn't matter. Regardless, our minds tend to form beliefs based on single, sufficient experiences or cumulative experiences of the same nature. In many of our limiting beliefs are a result of our experiences. As a kid, if you performed poorly on science tests, you begin to believe that science is a subject that you will never understand or succeed at. I had a difficulty with math. And it didn't help that, I grew up in an era where girls, let alone black girls, weren't expected to know math. So they tended to skip over us, and the boys were always the ones that they called upon. We know this from history, and these things are changing, and I hope they continue to change. If you're repeatedly being cheated on in your relationships, you may think that there are no good people in the world and you'll never find love. If you've been passed up for a promotion at work, you may believe that you are unqualified to perform at a higher level. But I don't want you to let these things shape you. I want you to overcome them. Get up. You may falter, but that doesn't mean that you're falling. Okay? Both our influences and our experiences work to determine what our beliefs are, and usually form during our childhood. As you begin to understand where your opinions come from, you can start to question them and ultimately change them. Throughout your life, you've constructed beliefs in yourself and about the world, which can directly contribute to your way of life. What's surprising is that these beliefs can also have a physical effect on you. The more reinforced the ideal is, the more impact it can have on your body. Whether you know it or not, your body shows the physical and mental manifestation of limiting beliefs that surround your self-image. Your limiting beliefs will cause you to feel like you've never been able to achieve a goal. This can result in decreasing your self-confidence, ultimately losing your self-esteem in the process. As your self-esteem falters, you might start avoiding trying new things and going on to new adventures because you will believe that the risks and dangers surrounding the experience to be destructive and even fatal. Now, this will result in you complaining to others and placing blame without discovering the underlying source of trouble. This can result in you starting to lose the balance you want in life that is necessary to keep it healthy and running. Limiting beliefs tend to cause self-judgment that is unhealthy, leading you to feel that you need to put up a mask and hide your true self from the world. Now, the fear of not being accepted for who you are can result in you losing your self-identity without even realizing it. You have to be so careful about altering yourself because others are uncomfortable with who you are. And again, I said, I'm not talking about being rude or nasty or anything like that. But gosh, I mean, you're just who you are. I mean, hey, maybe you have 5 or 6 degrees. Maybe you don't. Maybe you've started a business. Maybe you have tickets to the game. Just because other people do not have them doesn't mean that you don't go to the game. The limiting beliefs that you hold can result in physical changes to the body as well. This includes continuous and persistent agitation, depression, anxiety, indecision, bad temper, queasiness, and even other emotional problems. This can change who you are and the way you talk to others. The tone of your speech changes, and you will tend to be negative. It can cause you to find ways to complain and blame others for your problems and failures. No matter how bad my day is, I try to always say hello. Okay? I expect such a great deal from myself. I've accomplished so much on my own that I think you have a tendency to expect others to have the same work ethic or the same beliefs or the same feelings. And that's just not true. We have to be able to take people as they are and accept that and acknowledge that. That is what we have to do. And keep on going. Hey, do it alone. Do it afraid. That's something I learned from Joyce Myers. Do it afraid. Okay? When we come back, oh, wait a minute. You know what? I think I'm going to, okay. I'm going to go ahead and talk about identifying limiting beliefs. The first step to overcoming your limiting beliefs is to identify them. Living with your limited beliefs can lead you to live a mediocre life, one that is significantly different from your potential. Unfortunately, limiting beliefs can be a challenge to identity. Before you can begin to identify your limiting beliefs, you need to learn to keep track of your self-talk and become aware of the judgments that your subconscious is making. The tongue. By knowing how to keep track of the way you talk to yourself, you will be able to identify the limiting beliefs that run through your mind during conversations. Getting rid of the bias of your subconscious mind is another vital step in finding your limiting beliefs. Some of the most common limiting beliefs are: I can't be real, authentic self. I can't be my real, authentic self because I'm judged. I can't fall in love because I'll get heartbroken. I can't ask for what I want because I'll get rejected. I can't trust people because they will eventually betray my trust. I can't pursue my dreams because I will most likely fail. I don't need to be successful, so I'm not going to even strive for success. It's too late to pursue my dreams. I'm nothing special because I've never accomplished anything exceptional. I don't deserve happiness because I'm not good enough. I hate the way I look, and there's nothing I can do to change. I'm too weak and will never be able to find the strength to change. All poppycock. When we come back for our third podcast on this subject, we're going to talk about how we can overcome your limiting beliefs. And like I said before, my talking to you has helped me. We're in this together. Remember that the primary election is coming up August 3rd. The polls open at 7 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. If you have not by any chance taken back your or mailed off your absentee ballot, it's too late to mail that ballot. You're going to have to take it to a drop box, take it to your city clerk, okay? Make sure you have your absentee ballot in. If you need to register, if you're here in Michigan, go to michigan.gov and register. Wherever you are, go to your Secretary of State and register. This is Donna Miller with Vote Voiced Podcast. I want to thank you guys for listening. Any subject you want me to speak about has to do with voting, or even, our little side hustle. Sometimes we need to talk about something else. Sometimes we just need to talk about confidence and self-esteem right now. This is what we're doing right now because, here we are. We haven't been totally free yet, and who knows what's going to happen, but we're doing everything we can. Okay, still working. Zoom calls forever. Okay, get out there and walk, exercise. I'm going to be joining you, going out and taking a walk, binging some television. Hey, help out with a text bank, a phone bank. Okay? Listen, if you want to sign up to text or phone bank with Vote Voiced, leave me a message. Leave me your email. Email me at Donna9Miller Donna9Miller@votevoice.com. Let me know. Say, hey, Donna, I want to volunteer to text bank with Vote Voice. I want to volunteer to phone bank with Vote Voice. Okay, we're getting ready to have a text bank for the August 3rd elections, and we can definitely use some volunteers. Okay, that would be wonderful. This is Donna Miller for Vote Voiced. Visit us at www.votevoice.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr. We're just about everywhere, thank goodness. And I thank you all for listening to me, and you guys have a wonderful day.